prayer and pledge, please.
Father in heaven, bless us as we gather today for this meeting. Guide our minds and hearts so that we will work for the good of our community. Teach us to be generous in our outlook, courageous in the face of difficulty, and wise in our decisions. Thy will be done. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I now call to order this regularly scheduled meeting of the Hancock County Commission this July 18, 2013. Citizen presentation. If Mr. Pat Corbin please come forward and address the commission.
Yes, sir. Thank you, gentlemen. I am here to give you an update on some of the activities of the Business Development Corporation in Northern Panhandle. There are two projects, or actually two initiatives, that I'd like to brief you all on today. One of them is an initiative that we are undertaking on behalf of you all and the Hancock County residents. We put in an application for the West Virginia Community Development Hubcap's second iteration of its Community of Achievements program. It was so successful in the state of West Virginia last year that they wanted to do this program again. And what they do, it's a competitive process by which they select a handful of cities in the state of West Virginia and then commit 19 months of technical and financial assistance to help the community, and what they call a community collaboration team. It's 10 people that we will assemble ahead of time. They will help that group identify a project and develop a project similar to what we did with the TS&T site in Chester. They were so pleased with what the community did and what the Hancock County Commissioners did in partnership with the Business Development Corporation for that they want to see that emulated somewhere in northern Hancock County. And we've already made the short list to 10 communities. We just put in our final application to be picked as one of the final 7. And I'll be hearing from them as to how we fared by the end of this month. Also, I wanted to update you all on the activity with the Jimmy Carey Stadium in Weirton, Memorial Stadium in Newell, and also the former volunteer fire station in Weirton Heights. We are currently in the process of performing a Phase 1 environmental assessment on the properties. We received funding through an assessment grant with the assistance of the Brooke Hancock Jefferson Planning and Development Council. So those Phase 1 environmental assessments will be completely funded by the US EPA through Brooke Hancock Jefferson Planning and Development Council. We are also in the process of working with the local sign company in the Panhandle to actually design and build advertising signs to market those 3 properties as well. And so the community ought to be seeing signs for advertising probably within the next 30 to 45 days. As I mentioned earlier, the Phase 1 environmental assessments will be done by the end of August. And so we're looking at probably early fall where you will start seeing us aggressively marketing those 3 properties that you own. And that's really all I have to report, gentlemen. Any questions? Comments?
No. Thank you. Keep up the good work.
Thank you very much, gentlemen.
Thank you. Kevin Bynan, Weirton Transit Corporation.
Hello.
Hi, Mr. Bynan.
How are you? We're here once again this year to ask for a possible chance to get the funds to continue the operations that we do with the Weirton Transit Corporation. For the last several years, we've been allocated $15,000, and we appreciate that very much. This year, we had asked in a letter that we had sent for an additional $2,500 to go to $17,500 simply because of the increase that we're getting in fuel costs. We have been picking up around 40,000 people for several years. The last 2 years, we've been over 50,000 people in the city of Weirton. And the fuel costs have hit us pretty hard. So that's simply the reason for the increase that we've asked for this year.
Any questions, gentlemen?
Have we ever considered going to natural gas on the bus?
We have looked at it. Charleston, right now, KRT in Charleston is the first one in a state to be going to it. The governor is helping them go over to the CNG tanks, and everyone's waiting to see how they do when they get their first setup in. But they're putting it in, and then Steubenville is looking at possibly putting in a plant over in Steubenville if they can get enough of the public bus transportations in the area to go along with them.
Mr. Bynum, we have not done our special projects list yet, and as soon as we do, we will let you know that.
Appreciate that very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
An Oakland Public Service
Yeah.
District update.
You skipped the very first one on
I didn't skip that one.
there. Oh, you didn't?
No, we'll get to them.
Okay. Well, I was just getting, I told you she'd be running in and out of here. Greg Scott's here from Bucor Horn.
Okay.
PSD.
Afternoon, Greg Scott from Puchart Horn. We're the consulting engineers for the Oakland Public Service District. I just came here today to give you an update on our project. Unfortunately, one of our contractors were a little bit slow in getting some of the things complete, but where we're at now, the water plant is functioning. The contractor made the connection for the new filter system to tie into the existing system beginning of this month. The waterline contractor had completed building the water lines late last year. And our tank contractor, if you've been up there, you've seen the big blue tank. It was painted, ready to go. So what we've been doing this past few weeks has been flushing the system, taking bacteriological tests, making sure everything's compliant with the DHHR regulations. The plant is all checked out. The water lines have been flushed and checked out. And our contractor is coming in on Monday from the tank to button it up, and we will fill and sterilize the tank. He has to take 3 consecutive days sampling and pass that the tank is clean, and then we can put that tank into operation. So right now, provided that the samplings pass, which we anticipate they will, the contractor was very diligent about keeping the tank clean, that is on Monday the 29th, we can send out the notices to the customers to connect. There's still some items to clean up, a few items to wrap that project up, but that's the major milestone that the customers are all anxious to see. So the lines will be live, the customers can get water, and we can remove the bags from the hydrants so everyone will have fire protection. So that's what I asked to come here today to present. If anybody has any questions?
Greg, in regards to the road repairs,
Yes.
are there still issues out there that a contractor is going to be looking at of repairing any roads that were damaged during construction, or had they already completed everything they plan on doing?
They had done all the crossings of the state roads. The state had come out with our contractor and our inspector during the restoration. I know of one homeowner that has an issue with the driveway. The contractor will be coming back for the water line. He still has to put 1 volt in at the Wiley Ridge tank, but it's still currently in service, so he can't do that yet. So he'll be back on site. That's another opportunity to take care of any deficiencies. We've heard of no other complaints on the state roads, but we do have a bond as well, so if anything develops after this job is complete, we have that in place for a year to address. And we do have retainage on all the contractors at this point to address any deficiencies that might come up.
Okay, very good, thank you.
Thank you. Barb, did you have something from BHJ today?
I have a draw for your sidewalk, New Manchester sidewalk project. Cindy has a draw for Oakland. And that's what I've got.
The tap fees, I
Okay.
was gonna do it later with the bills.
Okay. All right. Sorry about that. Kathy Hawken. I think you're by yourself, are you not? Brooke Hancock, Military and Veterans Committee. Wait, there's another person there. Tammy West.
I started back in February at the Brooke Hancock FRN, and I am the Vet Corps Vista there. And if you look on the very first page at my description of my job there, as a Vista, I need to focus on enhancing the coalition's capacity to address veterans' issues, specifically substance abuse, mental health issues, along with housing and unemployment issues within our community. The overall goal of the Vet Corps project is to build the capacity of the community to support our military service members. And I came into the position, and the first thing I knew needed to be done was to see what type of, how many veterans we have in our area in Brooke and Hancock County. And I went on the census data and looked at some of the information there. And we, just for Hancock County, veterans alone, we have almost 3,000. And this information is a little bit old just because of the Census Bureau information. You know, it only updates every few years. But I did try to go on and get actually active military members as well. That's a little bit more difficult to obtain, that information, but just the Hancock County military veterans alone represents almost 9% of our county. And to me, that showed that we really need to have a focus on our military veterans and our military members as well. And the other thing I decided I needed to do was to see what resources we actually have in Hancock and Brule County that are already established for our veterans and our military members. And I went through several weeks, and this item that you see here, the Veteran Resource Guide, I created this, and I am passing this out to different area organizations and like the Legions, the VFWs, anything that has veterans come in that they can access this resource guide. And a lot of these resources are not in Brule and Hancock County. There are some that are, but because of the way our county is geographically, it's very difficult to find a lot of resources that are directly here. And it's hard for some of the veterans to access these resources. So the next thing I decided we need to do is to create this committee that will focus on creating more of an awareness of the resources, because just my personal situation with my husband being a veteran, it's very difficult to find the resources you need when things are difficult. The veterans go through a lot of issues, and until you're actually involved with one, you really don't realize what they go through. And so that it was very personal for me. And by creating this committee, I wanted to create more of an awareness for the veterans of what resources are there, or what is needed still in this area. Sorry. And sorry.
Take your time, you're fine.
And I also wanted to create more of a community of appreciation for our veterans, and to show them that we really appreciate the sacrifice that they have made and that they're continuing to make for our country. And we have already been involved as a committee in some activities. We're trying to get involved in awareness events. We have a health fair that's coming up at the Serbian Center that I would like to have a booth set up there with resources that are available. We are hosting an event with the Hancock Senior Center. It's going to be on August 9th. And we're going to have 2 representatives from the VA there to answer any questions. It's open to the public, of what they have regarding benefits that are available from the VA, and anything they have, any kind of questions they have. We also are having a booth set up at the September 7th awareness event at the top of West Virginia Community Resource Day, with resources there. And this is just the beginning. We were a part of an event at the Weirton Christian Center. There was up to 70 children there, and it was a 3-day event. And we had the Tri-State Young Marines come in. We had a female veteran who just retired recently. She came in and talked to the kids. We took some of the children up to Wingate to see some of the residents there that are veterans, and to show them their appreciation and to listen to some of the stories. And the kids were just really fascinated by some of the things that the veterans had to tell them. And they were so excited when we left. They were like, we want to go back again, and they just really enjoyed it. So these are just some of the things that we're trying to do as a committee to get established. And of course, it takes funding to do this. And I came in under the ASAP grant, which is Advocates for Substance Abuse Prevention. And that is definitely something that is big for the military culture because of the stress of things that they deal with. But we also need to start from the ground up. You can't just come in and say, okay, let's look at substance abuse. No, you need to come in and look at every single issue that they have, and you need to focus on bringing those resources that's going to help each and every individual in their own individual situations. So that's what I'm actually trying to do, and that's what this proposal is. So,
Kathy, I got a question.
absolutely.
And I have someone in mind where if we, in our lives, come across the veteran that would need assistance or some of your resources, what would be the best avenue they should take? Should we give them a flyer? Should they call the number here? Should they get on your website? How would we guide them to get to?
The first thing that I do is recommend they go, unfortunately, we don't have a VSO office in Brooke or Hancock County. The nearest VSO office for West Virginia itself is in Wheeling, and that's a far trek for some people. There is one in Steubenville, and that's actually who Tom and I have gone through ourselves. There's a representative there, her name is Shelley. She will work with the veteran, see what avenues they can take, doing any paperwork for the VA, which is a part of why we are having that event in August, because a lot of the veterans don't know. They don't know where to go, and to get on the internet, it's so confusing for them to look at the paperwork and say, what am I supposed to do? Well, that's what the VSO office does. That representative will sit down with them and explain how to do the paperwork. They will submit the paperwork for them to the VA. And anytime you have any change, if you have any new medical information, you call your VSO office, call that representative, they submit it into the VA for your case. So that in itself, I would love to have a VSO office up here, but, that's a whole different matter. That's all through the VA, and, maybe at some point it would be wonderful to have one up here. But, our nearest one right now at this point is Wheeling, but we can go to Steubenville. We are more than able to do anything through Steubenville. So, any other questions? Nope. All right.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you. Any other citizen presentations today? Having none, we'll move on to correspondence. Sue Smith, Hancock County Board of Education. Request approval for an excess levy to be placed on the ballot of a special election to be held on Saturday, November 9th, 2013.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Paula Calvert, Change Incorporated. Request approval to transfer 2 first-time homebuyer certificates from Hancock County to the city of Weirton. I've talked to Judy Reveau about this, and it is 2 people moving into Hancock County from out of state, which is always good to see that. And so I would recommend we move on this.
Great program. Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. County Commission. Approval to release a deed of trust for Richard D. White as the 5-year lien has lapsed.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All those in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of coal severance budget revisions number 1.
Okay, the coal severance budget for the new fiscal year, the carryover amount came in at $15,486. So we need to approve that. That money goes into our postage line item.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of general county budget revision number 1.
The projected carryover in the general county budget came in at $189,975 over the projection. So I need approval to throw that money into contingencies.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. County clerk. Approval of the retirement of Eleanor Strait as county clerk on August 31st, 2013. Hearing no approval of that, we will table that.
Move the table. What, you think we're serious? Move to approve.
Any discussion?
Talk about it at the next meeting, huh?
Are you going to cry the next meeting?
No.
No. Okay.
She has 2 more meetings.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Request approval of a resolution to authorize signatures for a savings account at First Choice American Community Federal Credit Union.
Move to approve that request.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Request approval of a resolution to authorize the application and contract for Visa credit cards with First Choice American Community Federal Credit Union.
Move to approve that request as well.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Office of Technology and Communication. Request approval for the 911 Center to post an employment advertisement for the position of dispatcher.
Move to approve.
Any discussion? I just had two people call me yesterday about that, Tracy, and asked me about putting that. I gave out two applications yesterday.
Perfect, good, thank you.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Request approval for the bid from Laudamus Communications and Security for UHF mobile, portable, and base radio stations for the Office of Emergency Management.
Move to approve.
Bob, anything you want to say on that?
We opened the bids the other day. A lot of miscommunication was a little bit for the 14 mobile, 14 portable, and base radio. So you'd like to go.
What was the amount of the bid? I'm sorry.
I used to say. That's what I was about it out.
38,980 and a $2,900 rebate.
How? You look a lot younger.
It's delighting.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Request approval to purchase a portable three-line decontamination system to include a waste storage system bag and portable 5.5 kW generator for the Office of Emergency Management. A bid request was published, but no bids were received.
There are no local vendors, so we've gone on in search for the lowest one we can buy from out of state. We're going to get two bids and compare them.
Do we have a ballpark price on that?
It's a little under $25,000 for the first one that we looked at.
Okay.
Mr. Vice, when we do get a bid on this, and what do you want us to do? Table it for now. I would like to have the Office of Emergency. I'd like to have John Paul Jones here when that happens.
Okay.
If you could.
We will resubmit them.
Okay. So no motion, no nothing on that, okay. Request approval to advertise for bids for the renovation of the courthouse to include the secured main front entrance.
We've received the design and everything back from LBR. We have a quote and everything. We'd like to put that out to get people to actually quote the actual construction price to put in the magnetometer and redo the front entrance.
Move to approve the request.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Sheriff's Office. Request approval of two new members to the Hancock County Sheriff's Reserves, Kevin D. Richmond and Saul Castro. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. We always approve everything the sheriff normally brings before us. You know, we favor this commission. Approval of exoneration orders.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of general county bills.
$33,603.67.
P card?
Should we put the P card on there? Karen's on vacation, so they were kind of small down there today.
Okay.
So it's not included.
Move to approve.
Move to approve. And you did tell me that Hancock County was number one in P card purchases in West Virginia?
Yeah, she told us it was one of the top counties.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of Oakland PSD bills.
Yeah, I do have one bill today which will close out the County Commission's obligation of the monies that they had allocated to us for that project. This is for the tap fees. There were 108 tap fees, and the total was $27,000. We want to thank you for your funding and support. It's been a long road, but we're there, close.
Move to approve.
Cindy, that's the end of the tap fees? That's what you're saying, it's the end of the tap fees?
You had set aside money for tap fees
We
and
have about
also towards
70,000.
the
Isn't there about
project.
70,000? It says only 27 that finished it.
Right.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of fire allocation bills and requisitions.
They're okay.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of library levy fund bills and requisitions.
They're okay to pay.
Move to approve.
All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Approval of animal shelter levy fund bills and requisitions.
I have none today.
Approval of sheltered workshop bills and requisitions.
I have none also.
Sheriff, anything to bring before the county commission today?
No, sir, not this time.
Counselor?
Nothing, Mr. President.
Miss Cindy?
Well, the only thing I wanted to say was your 2 revisions on your agenda today will be my last 2 revisions for you. As you know, I'm going to be retiring in September. So those are my last 2 revisions.
Well, that has to be approved also, that retirement.
Yeah, I know, you'll get a letter down the road. But I thought it was kind of a momentous occasion because we've had a lot of 30-plus years of revisions and budgets and stuff, and I just was kind of getting a little sentimental today about it.
No, a month.
A month.
Month, yeah.
I think we could buy like 1 cake.
That would be.
What's in the budget?
Can't buy that for that. It's revised.
Mr. Alonzi? Ms. Jackie? Ben? Tracy? Robert?
They want out of here, it's hot.
Just a quick comment. I'd like to thank the OEM staff and the 911 staff for their work in the flood situation that we had last week. During the course of 6 a.m. to midnight, there were 737 incoming calls, which basically is 42 per hour, which amounts to like 1 every 3 to 4 minutes per dispatcher throughout that time. So I think they did an excellent job.
I think the sheriff's office has something to do with answering some of those calls.
Well, we'll thank you too.
That was on the road. That wasn't the income.
Oh, yeah. I stand corrected. You're right.
And I'll tell you, I got a phone call that morning, I know you saw this too. John Good was taking his car personally in there and bringing some people out of some flood areas out there, wasn't it? So thank you.
Had a lot of people that was pulling together and helping each other. Neighbors, I saw a lot of neat things like that happening out there where neighbors were just, emptying out other people's garages before the flood got there. It was a lot, several people got hurt, but as far as having things damaged, but it was good to see the other people pulling for them.
And we did have 24-hour coverage here from the OEM. We actually had a service center, so to speak, open at the community center in Weirton. And I'd like to thank the OEM staff and especially all the volunteers that did help them through their times.
They all came through. Volunteer fire departments, the rescue squads, and the city of Weirton sent their people into areas outside of their city limits to assist. It was nice to see that.
Danny?
Yes, ma'am.
Barb has the draw for the Manchester Sidewalk Project. You officially need to make a motion to approve that draw so she can turn that in on your behalf to the state to get your monies back that you've already spent on that. We went past her real quick there. Whenever we were doing the other
I
stuff.
didn't know that Barb couldn't speak for herself.
Well, she's flagging me down over there, so.
Okay.
I'm like, do they need to make a motion on this?
I have the draw for money you've already spent on this project. This is bills to Alpha and to Trucial totaling $239,010. And that will leave $10,990 to draw on that final payment. My understanding is that the state still has to come and do a final walkthrough on that project, and that's why she said to hold that last bill out, so.
Move to make a final draw on the Manchester Sidewalk project as presented to us.
Any discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Thank you, Barb. Sorry about that.
Thank you.
Yeah, you actually need to sign that.
Miss Eleanor?
No, nothing.
Mr.
If we could go back, point of reference or point of record, what did we do with the item 3 under Office of Technology and Communication? Did we table that, or is that?
We didn't do anything. Well, they don't have a bid for it yet. So he's got to resubmit back to the commission.
We'll resubmit after we get bids from out of.
There's no sense tabling that. They haven't got any bids
All right,
right
I
now.
just want to make sure we sometimes just following Robert's rules, that's all.
Did you think I made a mistake? Is that what you're
Little
thinking?
one.
Okay. You were wrong, but it's all right. Mr. Davis.
Gentlemen,
I finished it. That wasn't my time.
it's hot in here.
Finished.
Point of order.
I need 10 seconds. Mark your calendars, August the 10th at the Weirton Event Center. It's a festival all day. It's called Remembering Holidays Cove in remembrance of Cove School and what's on that property. Dennis Jones from the Weirton Area Museum is spearheading this, and he's done an excellent job. And that's going to be on August the 10th. The highlights are going to be the unveiling of the historical plaque on Holidays Cove, which is going to be down there on Cove Road, up on top on the event center. And we're going to recognize some Cove School employees, teachers, parents, and students.
You were a teacher there, weren't you?
Yes.
Will you be recognized?
Yes.
Will you be the MC that day?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. I just wanted to know.
That is at 5. Well, it's all day. It starts at 10. It goes, and there's a band in the evening, and you probably
It's a
know
flea
what's
market
going
during the day.
The unveiling and the recognition of Cove School is, it starts at 5. I'm finished now.
Mr. Davis.
Yes, gentlemen. I'd like to move that the County Commission send a letter to the Pennsylvania DEP requesting the involvement in the development and remediation and reuse plans of Little Blue that's going to take place after the closure. I'd like to see Hancock County have a seat at the table there. Authorize a letter to be drafted.
It's a good motion.
That was a motion.
Any discussion? I think that's, we need to be heads up on that. When does that start, 2016?
16's a closure.
Okay. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Opposed, the ayes have it. Mr. Davis, anything else?
Just a reminder that the Greek Fest is this weekend, starting tonight, down on West Street. So anybody's hungry, it's a good place to go.
Great place to go, yes. Earlier today, we did give out video lottery dollars to the 3 cities, Chester, New Cumberland, and Weirton. This is about the 10th year we've done that. Chester received a $140,000 grant, which means that since we started giving this out, they're at $1,530,000. New Cumberland received $114,000, which puts them at $1,248,000, and Weirton received $446,000, which puts them at $4,872,000. Those are video lottery dollars that are given to the cities, and so we gave those out today, and we thank those the ability to be able to do that. We're thankful for that. A question I had was, we did put out the bids for the magistrate building. Have we got anything back yet, Mr. Vitus?
Those are all due in next Thursday. We've had 7 phone calls to date, people interested in asking for a little clarification. So we will have possibly an opening next week to, at that point, organize them all and invite them to the site and to talk to Mr. Cox and the magistrates. So it's like a pre-bid type meeting to make sure that they all have the same information on room sizes and things like that and security issues, and that need to be made inside of the building, and also let them look at the existing structure, the air conditioning, so they'll know if they have to include that in their bid.
Thank you. I'd also like to ask the commission to move the next commission meeting from 2:30 on August 1st to 8:30 in the morning. As happens from time to time for all of us, we have to be in Charleston. I have to be in Charleston that afternoon. So I'm going to, and we do have a hearing at 3 o'clock that afternoon, which you two can take care of. So I'm asking that we move that meeting to 8:30 next August 1st, the first Thursday of August. I will accept a motion that we adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
We are adjourned.